Hello, my beautiful people. My name is Lena, and this is Timeless New York City. So, I wanted to come in and say a couple of things. First of all, thank you for all the new subscribers. I'm actually at 375. So, I'm very close to my goal of 400, where I said I was going to come back in and do an update. And I will. This is not so much an update on my channel. This is going to be an observation on one of the shows that I have been really recording and doing recaps and reviews for most of you who have been here. It's for Chicago P.D. in the Chicago One family. So we are now in season 12, obviously, and I think, in episode 5. So I want to call this not a review, but more of an observation, because I did realize last season was a very short season with only 13 episodes. And I wasn't sure if they were going to play that again for this season, but I did check. This is going to be a full 22 episode season, which is going to be interesting. So after I finished my season 11 review, which was about 2 weeks ago, and I posted it, I started to get into season 12, and I was going to wait until the full season to do my normal recap review. And as I started to get into the first episode, it was very jarring. So I wanted to come in and check on everyone who's a fan of the show, who's been watching my channel, who's been keeping up with the new season, if I'm the only one that is feeling some sort of way, or is everybody else feeling what I'm going to start talking about? Let me know in the comments below, because I feel like I'm a little off, or there's something off. It could be me. If it is, okay, so the cheese stands alone. I'm okay with that. And it could be also because of the fact that when I was doing the recaps for all of the seasons 1 through 11, they're all streamed already. So I don't have to wait for the following week. I don't have to get into anything else. So I was able to binge watch all of the seasons repeatedly, especially when I'm doing the recaps and reviews to do the script. And capture the B-roll and things like that. There's like a way I can go back and check, and it doesn't take me out of the show because it goes episode by episode, season by season. So I went really hard, really deep, and I really got into the flow. Not all seasons were my favorite, not all episodes in every season were my favorite, but there was some sort of flow to it, which is why I started to capture my version of the titles. If you notice, if I do every season, I have like Into the Darkness, Into the Heart of Darkness, because it had like that sense of fluidity when you capture the entire season. So as soon as I finished season 11, I jumped right in. I was very excited because I knew how the last season 11 episode ended, which was with that shocking guest star appearance, and I recorded that, and I was like, wow, it made me feel some sort of way. So I went into season 12 episode 1, and I'm going to do this specific video to capture my observations, but I am going to do a full review on what I've noticed in 1 to 3, and then I'm going to do a second one for 4 and 5, okay? And let me know if I'm on the right track. So the first thing I noticed in episode 1 of season 12 was, I love the opening. I love when there is a scene that maybe goes on more than 3-4 minutes without anyone speaking. They just give you visual. And that is pretty much how much the first episode happened, where you first see Hank, and then it goes into this like 3 or 4 minute montage of him going on to a site, not speaking. They're just capturing moments. It allows you to watch what's happening without having to listen to the monologue. And the intensity of the music was really great. So I was like, okay. But also in those scenes, I realized that there's a couple of things that were odd. One, because I didn't go into any of the other reviews of this season, I don't want to look at anybody else's reviews. I don't want to check online. I want to go in here fresh-eyed, really not knowing what to expect. So we have the situation where Kim is not around. I'm like, that was the one thing I thought I didn't realize it in the first 10 minutes, but then as that episode ends, I'm like, okay, there's no Kim. Then I saw the new addition, which her name I want to say is Martell. Okay. At the first glance, I thought it was Kim, and I was like, what the hell did you do to your hair, woman? And then I realized it's not Kim. I said, okay, that's not Kim. Cool. And then I noticed in this specific episode, I saw more of Hank than I've ever seen in any of the episodes ever. And I know because I've watched them all. And when I say more of Hank, like in like speaking, no. I felt like I saw more of his shirt off than I've ever seen his character in any other episode. Every time I turn around, he's taking off his shirt. And I just thought that was kind of striking. He looks great, don't get me wrong. He's kind of like reminding me a little bit of Stabler in SVU. They're in the same age group and they both are very muscular now, and they're looking great for their age. It was just very jarring because that was the first episode. It's not like they've done it like episode by episode. No, it was in the first episode. I think I counted 4 or 5 times. I'll put it up here, where he's just shirtless, very fit. And I'm like, okay, it's not a type of show that does that. They're not like wearing low cut outfits and, it's not that type of show. And I don't think that that's what it was meant to portray either. It was just very jarring for me. I was like, huh, okay. And then I don't know what happened to Dante and to Kevin, but I think they're on the Hercules Thor diet because they just buffed up between one season to the next. Now, Kevin was never a small guy. He was always pretty muscular. But maybe because I've noticed now because of what's going on with Hank, I just saw the scene that I'm like, my God, you're like a tank. And then I looked at Dante and he's gained some muscle mass. And I'm like, what diet plan is that? Like, they look great. It was just like, now I'm noticing this, and maybe they were always that way, if you guys know that. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like this season it was very more muscular toned people. And then Ruzak goes completely the opposite direction, because Ruzak was always the heavier guy. He was never fat. He was just, he had a little bit more meat on his bones. Completely different Ruzak. And you got to understand something. I just finished season 11. It's not like I had to wait the extended time between season 11 to now season 12. I'm watching it, and I literally turned it on the next minute after I finished, my final cut for season 11. So I saw Ruzak in his other form, harried, not so much color in his hair, a little bit heavier. And all of a sudden I see Ruzak, I swear he must have lost 30 pounds. On top of that, he's almost completely blonde, and he has no hair in his face. And it took me a second. I'm like, okay. Surfer dude. Immediately I thought of the beach. He looks great. He really does. And I'm still waiting for Kim. I'm like, all right, there's no mention. And then they mention her that she's some sort of, I don't know, she's away somewhere. At this point, I'm just trying to gather myself. I don't know if anybody else is feeling this way. And maybe you're not, because you're not binge watching and then coming here directly. I really don't know anything about this episode. I've watched it twice, and I don't get a sense yet between episode 1 through 5 what I'm going to name this season yet. I'm going to wait until the full season runs to pick a title. I can tell you right now what I feel. I feel dazed and confused. That's a working title. Don't hold me to it. It's just what I feel right now. If you want to help pick a title for me, drop a comment in below, and the best one, I'll use it in my full season review, and name you and thank you. So let's get into the fact that in episode 1, we meet the new person, and this is another thing that drove me bananas. I felt the way that she was speaking to Ruzak in the beginning, that she was a character I should have seen in any of the other seasons, and I was like banging my head against the wall. I'm like, should she have been somewhere that I missed? And I was going crazy. I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? Like, why does she know him? Why does she know Kim? And why? Just why? Why? And then they try to give some context between the two of them, that, you know, she went crazy and because her partner was killed or something like that. And she's a mom and she has a kid. And I'm like, okay, thank you. I don't really know. And I'm trying to avoid Googling it because I know that I don't want to get into any spoilers. But then I started killing myself. I'm like, all right, let me just check something. Obviously, she's never been on the show before. I was like, okay, that's relieving, because I felt bad. I should have mentioned her at some point in the 11 years that I've been doing the season recap for the 11 seasons. I get emotional. Sorry. This is the real me. This is not my AI companion, which we'll call her Me 2.0. You can name her. Her name is Lena, just like me, but we can say Lena 2.0. So I'm trying to get comfortable with the fact that she's on the show now, and I get that they need to find a replacement for Haley, but she's been on technically in the context of episode 1 for a month, which means a month has passed, I think. I don't know. So as they start speaking and, you know, trying to get her incorporated in the show, I'm like, all right, let's dig in. Okay, I'm accepting this. Cool. Single mom, went crazy. She's on the team now. Everybody knows her. They haven't thrown her a party. Yada, 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 yada. I honestly don't remember what was the episode about. All I know, I felt like Hank was on a death wish mission. Now, for you younger folks, maybe you don't know what Death Wish is, but if you don't, check it out. It's an actual movie franchise. And for those you know who Death Wish and what the movie franchise. I just felt like he was on a mission. I was like, oh wow, Hank is losing it. Like, he's like focused. He's like, get him. So again, this is not a review of the episode. This is just my observations that kind of like threw me off my game a little bit. And then all of a sudden, as I start to get comfortable watching this new girl with Ruzak, or Ruzi, as she likes to call him affectionately, they're driving. And all of a sudden you hear pop shooting. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's really weird. And I just didn't think much of it because I'm watching the episode. And then they get out of the car. And then I'm like, okay, so we're going to get to really know what her skill set. We're not. She got shot. And fade to black. And I had to rewind it because I'm like, what the hell did I just watch? So, because, you know, anybody can get shot doesn't mean they're dead. No. When I rewound it and I looked at slow motion and then I realized what the hell was going on, I'm like, no, you didn't just kill this girl off after you just introduced her. What is the functionality of this episode? Okay. Bye. I think. And this is where I said this is my thing. It's like, by this point, because it's not a full season yet, so now we have to wait for every week. So it just left me standing there like, so now I have to wait till the following week to figure out what in the tarnation is going on. Yeah, I said tarnation because I'm trying not to curse. Though I have a mouth like a suba, okay? But I'm trying to be clean on YouTube. Or a trucker. So that was episode 1. Very Death Wish, Hercules, Thor-ish, Dazed and Confused. Maybe once the entire season ends, I can see what I'm looking at, but right now I'm lost. So here's week number 2, episode 2. Okay, out of the 5 that I've seen already that has been out, episode 2 is my favorite. Just putting it out there. It's very Rusick centric, of course, because his partner is, as he would like to not believe, is very much dead, as he's dragging her body and telling everyone to keep working on her. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not crazy. She is off the show. And Rusick had me going. He made me cry by the end of the episode. I don't want to give a full episode, but I did notice another thing. No Kim. Again, it's like paying, where's Waldo? Where's Kim? And again, I'm not tuning into any other spoilers or anything like that. So I know she's on the show. I'm like, well, so how long are we going to do this for? Like, it's going to be like in 5 episodes. What's happening? What's going on? Where is she? Right? Okay. The episode is very, very strong. Now, they introduce a new character. Her name, I want to say, is Cook. If it's wrong, I'm sorry. I'll put her name on the bottom here. I liked her immediately. This woman, she was able to handle Ruzak. It was a very emotional scene between him finding out that his 5-minute partner is dead, who's been a lifetime friend. Him trying to find the killer. Kim not being there. The team finding out the killer is dead. I'm sorry, that the partner is dead. Them tracking down the kid to the killer was a very good episode. I actually enjoyed it a lot. It really brought Ruzak to the forefront and his emotions, and he has a great range of emotions. Like, I was like, wow, this is good, because I wasn't a big fan of him in season 1, but as these seasons kept going, he's top tier, one of my favorites. With Kim. Where's Kim? Okay. I like the new partner. I kind of suspected something was going to happen with her because the way they brought her in, and they put this girl through hell. She got shot at. She jumped on a car and got hit by the car and hung onto the car, and she's like flailing and flying and being tossed off. I'm like, my God, if they don't give this girl another episode, I don't know what to tell you. And the way that she was able to speak to Ruzak, I was like, yeah, I can see her joining the team. Little did I know what was going to happen, so just relax. So I really gave them credit for this one, and I'm going to leave it at that. I liked it. In comes episode 3, and this becomes a very Kevin-centric episode. So apparently Kevin is going to have I don't want to say girlfriend, because I don't know what she is. Very mysterious, very coming in and, very thirsty. And I don't mean drinking beer, want to have a drink thirsty. She just came on to him the entire episode. And it was really weird, because I go back to what I said. This poor Kevin, they never really give him any real juice in like relationships. I don't see the chemistry. Sorry, I don't. She looks like a nice person. I just don't get what they're trying to do with Kevin. I mean, yes, he needs a relief valve. She makes that very clear in the entire episode. And I'm like, really? Is that what we're doing? She is now the psychologist or psychiatrist or the police I don't know. This whole episode was just, other than Kevin, because I enjoy Kevin and I like his range of emotions as well. Like, you could tell that he's right at that tipping point, and then he tries to just calm himself down, and he does it really well when he does that change. I just wish they just stick to some sort of fluid storyline with him, because first he was a single sibling raising his kids, not his kids, but his brother and sister. They're gone. Then they had his father come in, and I haven't seen him. I don't recall seeing him, at least. And now he has a building that he purchased, and he's a landlord. And, he's had not numerous, but some flings that never turn out well, ever. Poor Kevin. And now this chick comes in, and she's just like all over him like a monkey on a banana tree. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know where they're going with it, because this season hasn't ended yet. So I'm just giving you what I think is going on and how uncomfortable I feel. I didn't really care for the episode as far as storyline. It wasn't one of my favorites. just because I saw what they were trying to do, tying him into this girl, and how that whole episode ties into him. And then at the end, how he apologizes to her for being angry at her for something that she recommended, which was she shouldn't have. And then he still caves in and apologizes to her. And then he goes into her apartment to relieve his pressure. Very subtle. I know. Okay, so that covers episodes 1 to 3. And again, my observations. So help me out here. Longtime fans who may discover this video, you know, if the YouTube algorithm god allows it. You know, I heard what I know what I said. And for the ones who are subscribed and are watching it with me, and for the ones who watch and are not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm fun. I promise you, I'm not always AI. Sometimes it's just easier to do a full recap on that version because I like to be very meticulous, and you know, time is not on my side either. But I am going to come in and check in and do some, you know, live stuff, not live stuff, but less AI stuff. So subscribe to my channel. Am I crazy? And please, I could be crazy, but am I crazy about this? Is anybody else kind of like wondering what's happening? Are you feeling this season so far? Are you liking it? Do you have your own comments you want to bring into what I missed in my observations? Let me know, because I'm going to get into episode 3 and 4 now, or no, 4 or 5 in my next video coming very shortly. And I'm still working title Dazed and Confused. Don't think that's going to work for this, but if it just continues, I'm going to be like, yeah, Chicago PD, you need to do a little bit better. You're falling off a little bit. And there could be a story flow here that I'm not aware of. And maybe you guys see it, and maybe because I'm just so hard into the other seasons and I'm getting into this right now, and I'm like, okay, somebody wake me out from it and let me know. Otherwise, stay tuned for episode 4 and 5, and let me know how you feel in the comments. I would love to interact with you, because sometimes I feel like I'm lost in the void by myself here, and I'm like, is anybody like listening to me? Like, it's because I can't be the only one. Even if there's one person that agrees with me, that's one more than I am right now. So I appreciate you really. So check out my other videos. Hopefully you can see them. I'll put them up here in the playlist. I also have my online store, which, by the way, I bought some of my samples, and I'm going to do a video on my samples so you guys can see some of the items that I've actually put on my actual shop store. Holiday themed, witch and Santa Claus theme, because I love that theme. So check that out as well. And I will catch you very soon in my next video. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Mwah.